We're now joined by Ben Hodges from Frankfurt, Germany. He's a retired United States Army Lieutenant General. He's currently the Pershing Chair in Strategic Studies at the Center for European Policy Analysis in Washington. General Hodges, good to have you on the show. I want to go back to how we got here because you had a chance to visit the country, Ukraine, shortly before the invasion, and you also served as the commander of the U.S. Army Europe shortly after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. There is a belief that Russian foreign policy is as a defensive response to NATO's sort of post-Cold War expansion. What is your assessment of where we stand now, a little more than 3 months into this war?
Well, first of all, thanks for the privilege of appearing on your program. There's a total false narrative from the Kremlin that somehow they had no choice but to respond to so-called NATO expansion. I mean, the real question is, why is it that every country that was once a part of the Soviet Union or Warsaw Pact came running to join NATO at the first possible opportunity? So NATO doesn't expand, its membership enlarges because nations come to it wanting to join because they know what it's like being a part of or under the thumb of the Kremlin. That's what this is about. NATO, when Russia was on its knees at the collapse of the Soviet Union, not one NATO aircraft or vehicle or soldier entered Russian sovereign territory. So this is a total false narrative from the Kremlin to justify what it's doing. What it really fears is the people of Ukraine becoming prosperous. That would result from them being totally free and independent and integrated to the West. Now, where are we today? 3 months into this, 3 months after Russia should have, or at least thought they were just going to roll over the Ukrainians. 3 months into this, the Russians are stuck in a quagmire, and each week they reduce their ambition because they see that they're not going to be successful. I anticipate we've got the next couple of months are going to be very difficult. There will be some local successes for Russian forces, but probably by the middle of August, Russian forces will have culminated. They cannot sustain what they're doing. They have no friends. They have no support. And I believe that Ukraine, by September, should be able to push Russian forces back to the 23 February line.
So, I mean, let me follow up on that. I mean, you say that they're in a quagmire. I mean, do you think that the Russian President Putin is sort of running out of options to avoid defeat in Ukraine? And I want to follow it up by asking, so what is the main objective for them in Ukraine?
Well, that's exactly the right question. Their objective from the beginning was to eliminate Ukraine as a state, even the idea of Ukraine as a state, to ruin their economy and to make sure that there is no prosperous country on its border. Obviously, they have failed in almost every aspect of this. And so now I think what they're trying to settle for is to consolidate what they have taken since 24 February, and to dig in. They don't have the capacity to continue major offensive operations, so they're going to try and hang on to what they have and hope that the West loses interest, or because of these looming food shortages caused by Russia's blockade of ships carrying grain, that the West would cave into the pressure and ask Ukraine to settle so that Russia could keep what they have now, and then next year just start it up again. This is what, obviously, this would be the worst outcome.
No one thought this war would be over quickly, and I think that it's not yet a stalemate. I mean, Russia is making advances, albeit very slowly. Since you mentioned that one of the original objectives of Russia was to ruin the country's economy, do you think that the outcome of this war is solely dependent on military might alone?
No, actually, the sanctions that the West has put in place, and so far we're hanging together, have been critical. That prevents Russia from being able to replace all of the precision munitions it has expended against civilian targets. For example, they have to import certain components required for precision munitions and for some of their ships. So the sanctions play an important role. Obviously, there's more to do because they still are making tons of money by the sale of oil and gas. So that's got to be closed off. I think that what Turkey has done to block any additional Russian ships from coming through the straits into the Black Sea. This is important. So there's a diplomatic component and there's an economic component to the pressure required to help Ukraine defeat Russia. So it's not just about military.
Okay. General Hodges, a pleasure having you on the show. I do appreciate your analysis. Thank you very much.